Hey everyone, my name is Tracy Brill, and this is my Module 1, my personal info, and then the 3 levels of government control of public education for EDL 850. So, just to begin with a little bit about myself, I am from Kansas. I have four siblings. I'm the youngest, and I am a graduate from Kansas State University. And you can see in the picture, my husband is as well. We both are K-State fans, big football fans. So we have been married for 3 years this next September. I absolutely love anything outdoors. I love Chiefs. I love football. Yeah, just anything that I can do that's some sort of adventure, we definitely like. That's a little bit about me. My work environment. This is my 9th year as an elementary teacher. So I have taught 3 different grade levels. I started out teaching 5th grade for 3 years, and I was on a military base, Fort Riley, which is near Manhattan, Kansas, which is where I went to school at K-State. So I did 5th grade for 3 years, and then I jumped down to 4th grade, and I did that for 4 years, and I absolutely loved 4th grade. I just enjoyed that because 5th grade was a challenge with them and kind of just in that phase of where they are that season in 5th grade. But with 4th grade, I was able to build such great relationships with those students. So still talk to some of them. So I loved 4th grade. But I am currently teaching 2nd grade, and this next year will be my 2nd year. So I've had some different school experiences at different buildings, mostly in the state of Kansas and one school in Missouri, but I just love the opportunities that I've had, have really opened my eyes, and which is why I am in educational leadership, just the different experiences I have that have really opened my eyes for the good, and then opened my eyes of just what I wish kind of would be different. One cool thing about me is I did teach English in China for 5 weeks with my husband. So and this is my slide for my current school, but I'm actually going to be moving. So Starside Elementary, I taught, it's near Kansas City in DeSoto. Here's the demographics for Starside, but I just kind of wanted to briefly explain through this class that my husband is doing the transition to teaching through Fort Hays, and so I'll mention Starside, but we just are going to move to Western Kansas, so he's going to be a PE teacher, and I will be teaching 2nd grade. But you'll kind of notice some things that I'll talk about just past experience, and some things that I'm going to use my previous school because I don't know a ton about my new school yet. But demographics for both schools, my past school and this one, high ELL population. There will be a lot more diversity in my school in Western Kansas and Hugoton, Kansas, so that'll be something that I'm really excited for. But anyways, enough about me. So 3 levels of government control of public education. I felt like this was an awesome assignment where I learned a lot, and I feel like I still have more to learn. So let's get started. First level of government is local. And so this is where I feel just the most confident of my knowledge and my experience. So the local level, they are the ones deciding pretty much how the school is ran and how it operates from the day-to-day basis. So the State Department, that is why they created those school districts. And then we have school boards. So school boards have members, and those are volunteer positions or appointed. They hire the superintendent. Superintendent works on the day-to-day operations and the budgeting and so much more, I know, that I give them credit for. Tough job. But they also, for the local level, they do the hiring of teachers, the firing of teachers. They vote for curriculum, just deciding when school's in session and when it's not. But I feel like I knew more for this level than state and federal. But state, sorry. They primarily are the accountability and overseeing of school districts. So states they establish their own education department, and they can pass laws. They do give just the power and the authority more to the local level, but they definitely have the power and authority to take that back as well. So we have Common Core standards. Those are done by the state governors. State levels decide to create other standards for other subjects taught in schools as well. Then also states provide for a little less than half of the operating costs of schools, which is pretty crazy to think about. So we have the federal, and I'm going to start with their mission to promote student achievement and preparation for global competitiveness by fostering educational excellence and ensuring equal access. So you're going to see a lot of the fostering the excellence in education and then the ensuring the equal access right here on my second bullet. Brown versus Board, Civil Rights of 1954, the Elementary and Secondary Education Acts, No Child Left Behind, and then Every Student Succeeds Act. So those are focusing on really just giving the kids the education they deserve and making sure that everyone has that equal access to their education now and for the future, for sure. Congress passes the federal budget for the year, so the federal contributions, they provide about 10% to the government-run schools, which this is new information. I feel like I don't know a ton about just the federal level, which I want to learn more about. And then they have the accountability from testing. So I just put the question from at the bottom of this, what should the role of federal government be? Just kind of I want to make sure that I am basing just my knowledge, but what I'm learning, and then also forming my own opinion. So just because we had a few articles and what should they be doing. So I know it's different for everyone you talk to, but I learned a lot, and all three of those levels are important in our government. So here's a little bit more of a breakdown. I'm not going to read all of them, but local level, we have our school board superintendent, and school board, I said earlier, is volunteer, superintendent is paid. So their jobs I mentioned before, local policies for the education, hiring, firing, curriculum, budgeting, policies for staff, for the community. They do have the least amount of power, but the most control, because it's hands-on. They're right there. Then we look at the state, our Kansas Governor, Laura Kelly, Kansas Commissioner, Dr. Randy Watson, and then the Kansas Board of Education. So they have 10 elected members, and they serve in, each one serves in a different district. So if you would look at Kansas, it's broken up into 10 different districts. Their jobs: funding, state standards and assessment, special services, so title services, nutrition and wellness for children, financial aid, and then the career and technical education, and lots more. Those are just some examples. And then looking at the federal, they are Secretary of Education. Oh, before I go on. So the state, they have less control, but with more power. And then federal, we have our Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos. Her jobs are listed there. Definitely, she has the most power, and without the the most power without the direct control. I made a mistake on that slide. So which have influence in meeting standards and support for children? So for our NELP Standard 6, the operations and management, this was hard for me because I feel like depending on who you would ask or different situations, circumstances, each one could be different. Like I could see local and state and federal kind of intertwined into all of them. But for the component 6.1, evaluate, develop, and implement management, communication technology, school level governance, and operation systems that support each students' learning needs and promote the mission and vision. I said local because I feel like that has to be just so personal of knowing your kids and knowing the district, knowing the school. So I definitely said local for component 6.1. Then 6.2, the evaluating, developing, and advocating for a data-informed plan. So my difference here, I think it's both, but I think it starts with the state because you have to have that plan, evaluating and developing. But then advocating, I feel like I could see that in local as well, but the biggest thing is just the data informed. I just truly believe it has to start from the top up. So I would say both, but if I had to say one, I would say state for that one. And then component 6.3, the evaluating, communicating, implementing laws, rights, policies, definitely federal for that one. I could still see state as well, working to influence and support children in those. But again, I would say all of them for all of those I could see. So the last one, just success in education and well-being of the students. I put this picture up just because I feel like all the levels, they all are different, but they have their own roles, different jobs. But I feel like if we're not united and working together, if each level of government is not working together for the success of education for students and the well-being, that's where we kind of mess up. And just instead of focusing on the most power and just having the mindset of everyone has a part to play. And it's for the kids, it's not just for us. So each one is vital, most definitely. And then my references. So I would say this assignment, this task was super beneficial. Just a level of learning and kind of researching and understanding that I haven't had to do too much as an elementary teacher, but seeing the side of it as being an educational leadership, yeah, I mean, I would be dealing with more of the different levels in that aspect.